Hi everyone, my name is Braylon. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm a special ed teacher and I've been teaching special ed for just about 10 years. I love what I do. I love teaching, and I this year have really been wanting to get back into vlogging. One of the things that I love is like being in my space in my classroom, or now I have an office or whatever, kind of organizing the stuff, talking about different things that I've been doing. Well, I really want to mention that I do not talk about kids. I do not talk about their goals. I do not talk about specifics. I don't talk about my school as a whole. I only talk about like resources and things that I could add to the rhetoric. I want to talk today about my small groups, how I schedule them, how I run them, some of the resources that I've been using, that kind of thing. I want to first talk about how I'm scheduling my groups. This is just what I've been doing this year in terms of like grouping kids together, that kind of stuff. So let's go to my desk and I'll talk through like ways I've scheduled them. If I'm being honest, it wasn't a perfect system and I had to get a lot of support from my coworkers. So this is my first year in this building, my first year in this program, but I kind of want to explain my thought process and maybe it would help. I don't know. Okay, so when I got to school at the beginning of the school year, I was given a list of students and I very quickly went through all of their goals, all of their objectives, their grade level, and their schedule. I obviously cannot show you that. Like, I'm not ever going to show you what my school is using, but I can give you kind of an overview about like what I did, if that makes sense. So at the beginning of the year, I did receive my school schedule, which is just like all the grade levels and when they have their different subjects and their different like extracurricular activities. Then I got my list of students for like my caseload, and I made this chart that I can kind of show you an example of just to show how I organized it for my own brain. And I've actually had to go back and use this like so many times because I've felt lost, or like I've had a kid being added, or minutes have adjusted, and I've really wanted to make sure that I'm maximizing my time and servicing my students the best. Okay, my coworker gave this to me, and basically it like lays out the kid, the homeroom, whether they get push in or pull out support. And so I added in their names, their homeroom, and then underneath the push in or pull out, I would add the exact minutes that they needed per week. Then I went down below and I added the objectives. So I made a tab for all the ELA objectives for each of my students, like all in one place, their writing objectives, their math objectives. Then I started plugging people in. Like I would look at my schedule and I know that I would do generally like 30-minute increments. And then I just started putting kids together that had like things that would match their schedule, and that was kind of how I started. So hopefully that was quick in an overview without giving any information away about my students. Okay, so where you're positioned on the camera is at a like horseshoe type arrangement that I have of 5 desks, and this is where I do the bulk of my teaching, and I run my groups the exact same way for every section. I always put an agenda up on the board for myself, not for them. And it'll always start the same way. It will start with review, then we'll do some kind of game, new material, and then review of that new material. Every single time, without fail. Like, I think I mentioned in my previous video that I just posted like a couple weeks ago about how I do basically how I do like one reading system, and it's very structured. So like a lot of my reading groups are going to be really structured because they're the reading system that I've been using. But if it's another subject or it's a different kind of group or a different kind of student, I will do the exact same structure because I need to review to make sure I'm understanding, and then like teach a little mini new thing and then continue on with my new stuff. So, I mean my review. So hopefully that like made sense. Okay, the video quality of this is gonna be poor, this section, because I'm using the front of my phone because my actual camera, the screen is really small, and I just wanna make sure that I'm not sharing anything like important in this that I'm gonna show you next. So apologies, but I just wanna be able to see it like really clearly on my phone. But you'll live. Okay, so every student gets a binder when they come into my groups. So if I pick them up, I'll walk quickly and pick them up. But if they come on their own, they will know that they just have to get this and start. So they'll grab the binder and they immediately sit down and get started on the subject. So this one is like pretty much a blank one. I have them write their name in and the date. I printed a fresh one, so you can't see any details, because I trust myself to remember that they were there for compensatory services, but I just want to cross-reference them writing in. It just helps me a lot and helps them start to take ownership of like when they're coming to see me. So they write it in, and then on the sides, I don't have this now. This is just a pretend binder, but I have, the subjects that they see me for. So if they see me like 2 times a week or 3 times a week or whatever for a certain subject, they know they're going to go to that subject. And then I have just additional like review. This is just like a random one I picked up, additional like review stuff. So a lot of the stuff that I print off is from Super Teacher Worksheets. It's $25 for the year. It just has really basic like worksheets. I don't use them for like all of my teaching, but when it comes to like what they're going to do for 2 minutes while they sit down and review while I'm making sure everybody's here, I make sure that we have all the materials, that kind of stuff. Especially if I have kids coming from multiple different classrooms. So they'll do something like this, some sort of review, maybe I'll have them edit some sentences, add capital, add punctuation if they're working on that as a subject. And that's another way that I like track progress. But the binders really help. And then when they complete actual work with me, I take that work like as work samples and I keep it. Obviously this one is a fake one, but I'll keep it like in the back of the binder. Then when I have like an IEP meeting or I have something else, I'll take it. I have a couple groups that are really big and they're more kind of like support groups. I won't get into specifics. They don't have binders, they just have folders. So they do the same thing, but they come in with the folder. They don't actually do work. They just keep the folder on the desk while we do stuff so that they can organize their own work in their folders. They can take some ownership of the work that they're doing and the progress that they're making. So I hope that made sense. Each kid has a little binder. These binders I got at the dollar store for like 99 cents. They were less than $1. They're 2 for $1 actually. So they're really cheap and they don't have like a front pouch, but I don't care because if they get ruined, they get ruined, and it's just to kind of store stuff. So I have a whole shelf with a bunch of binders for every kid. So hopefully that also made sense. I did get like a question about what apps I use in my classroom. So because I have such a structured system of how I see groups, I use like a few apps, but I try to stay pretty like Chromebook, iPad, smartboard free. If you notice, I don't have a smartboard in my office. I use like a computer screen. But regardless, I think that using technology is super important, but because they only see me for 30 minutes, it's not the highest priority for me. So if I do like a review game, I will use WordWall because it's free, and I will use Boom Cards because they're free. If I'm doing actual practice of something, I might try to find like a free website, or I'll use our curriculum websites that have like some activities. For like manipulatives, I use toytheater.com. It's free for teachers. There's a whole section called Teacher Toolbox. It's the best. But those are some of the things I tend to do for free. But this is the basic structure of like the groups that I have for every subject, like every single subject that I have. And that does not include push-in. This is just pull-out services. So I hope that made sense. Yeah. Please comment below. Let me know if you have more questions. This was a really quick overview video while I was here. I thought I would just show some things. Please let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see. I can do some of them here. I can film them at home. I've been vlogging a lot more just about my personal life, and that's been really fun. So yeah, so stay tuned and love you all.